mind, I'll have you just share anything specific to your background, and then you can go right into the story.
Okay, been a medic for 20 years in the U.S. Army, served in several different locations, 3 deployments to combat operations in the Middle East. I'm at the end of my career right now, getting ready to retire next year, and stationed out here in the Midwest. As far as the story goes, we were out in the field doing maneuvers, and it was probably day 4, day 5, in the fall, early winter time frame of 2017. It was 2017. And as we were doing maneuvers, we would pick up our location, move from location to location, at random times whenever we were dictated by from higher. The incident occurred one night on guard duty. One of my soldiers, we were setting up our operations, running our drills and our tactics. We would, have guard duties at night. We'd also set out kind of like little hide sites, put guys in. So we had an opposition force that was, we were getting certified to go on a rotation to Korea. We'll just say Korea.
Right.
It's a perimeter. First thing we do is we set in security. We get up our communications, and we just start our regular operations into our specific jobs.
Right.
That night was one of my soldiers' turns to come out, go on guard duty. Went on guard duty, went on the outside of the perimeter, into the tree line. He wasn't in the tree line. He was kind of close to it, and when he was out there close to it, he saw an 8 to 9 foot humanoid creature. I actually kind of locked eyes. He was under night vision. When they locked eyes, those eyes were like glowing and just kind of like flowed back into the woods.
Wow. So was he mobile while he was guarding, or was he stationed?
He was on foot.
He was on foot.
Kind of making little checks here and there.
I see.
Around the perimeter. And
how far roughly did he say this was away when he saw it?
About 50 to 60 meters, maybe from here to that fence.
Okay. Wow.
A little bit closer. No, yeah, out there. I would say between here and that fence is what he said he saw. I was racked out. I was 24 hours of operations like that. I was tired, so I went to sleep. Evidently, he ran into our tactical operations center first. So he's like, man, there's a big freaking dude out here. Now we had guys, forward observers out, looking around and whatnot, keeping tracks on targets, calling up targets as they see them. Once he ran into the top, he just ran in there, made that announcement, ran out, came and told us, woke me up, told me, what are you talking about? And he pulled me outside. I'm there. I'm like halfway dressed. Got my boots on, but they're not tied, falling off and everything. I'm like, what? What did you see? And he's like, man, that thing was. He went up to the branch where he said he measured it. He was like, it was that tall.
And you said around 8 feet?
8 to 9 feet. Yeah, it was. We never really got a measurement because they called in. The game warden. He was like hysterical. We had to sit him down, put him on oxygen. He hyperventilated even more.
The soldier?
Mm-hmm.
So it was already standing up, facing him, watching him.
Mm-hmm.
When he
was probably watching everything there, which is weird because we have generators and everything else out there. It's loud. It's really loud.
Okay.
So, there's something else out there with it. I don't know. We don't know. We didn't find any kind of hair or any tracks or anything. They shut it off. Once game warden and MPs got out there, they shut it down. They pretty much isolated the area. So
you said afterwards he didn't want to talk anything about it.
No. What he did there for a little bit, like 2-3 days into it, he would just stick to the same story over and over again. And You could tell he was shaking,
absolutely.
really shaking. Then I guess he got called in through the brigade commander and went down to post headquarters, and they told him, you saw nothing, or you saw one of the fisters out the ghillie suit.
One of the what?
Fisters. A fister is a forward observer.
Oh, okay. I got it.
So that's what he was told. After that meeting, we weren't privy to that meeting. They asked, what are you guys doing here? I'm like, it's my soldier. I'm bringing him in. And you guys wait here. I'll be back in a minute. He was in there maybe 5-10. Seemed like he was in there forever. He was only in there like 5-10 minutes. And then they took whatever they told him. He came out. He's like, you guys are free to go. And I got him in the car. He's like, you good? I'm like, yep. Want to talk about it? Nope. To this day, he won't bring it up ever.
So it would be hard then, and he probably never went into any detail about other than the 8 to 9 feet.
8 to 9 feet, he said he saw. They were very large eyes. They were, when he looked at them, they looked, through the nods, they looked green. And when you're looking through those things, imagine.
It's like a different shades of green.
It's different shades of green. Different, it's like a neon green kind of.
Was it thermal? Was it IR?
Yeah.
Was it?
It was straight up regular Army issued piece of junk.
Got Gen 2 or what?
PVS 14. I think they were probably a Gen 3.
Okay.
You'd have to look on the service tag for what generation they were.
Right.
But it's like, when you're looking through it, it's like put a toilet paper roll up to your eye and just look. That's how it looks.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking through a tube.
It's like a monocular.
Mm-hmm.
Lane has one, I think. Well, maybe it's a Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked through it, and pretty limited, but I mean, you can see, but it's so focused in that one area.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tune it in really, really well. But as far as, now they're coming out newer ones,
right.
Thermal and all that other stuff on them. So we'll never see that, we'll never see that down in our land. That's more, special operations and Air Force special operations, stuff like that. That's where you see those.
So you weren't privy to this meeting. It was higher ups above you that took control.
Yeah, it was like the garrison commander, the base commander, probably somebody from Department of Emergency Service, DES.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was state or local game warden in there or whatever. Not sure. I know the ones that work on post, they work for the state, but I'm not sure how high that echelon went up.
Right. So you said that the game warden did come. Was he in that meeting?
He was in that meeting. They came out. They looked around. I never really saw any kind of like evidence bags or anything like that with them.
Right.
I never saw anything like that. Again, we had to get up and move because they closed that area down.
Was there more activity in that area, like where you would see people exploring that area to see if they could find anything, or was it activity normal level after that?
I believe when you hunt on post, you have to see what areas are open.
Yeah.
I know that area wasn't open for a while.
Okay.
So they would probably shut down that entire. It's like a training. It's like a training area, like a TA. People would call it, and they'll give it a number.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, you got this training area 10, this training area 12, 11, so on and so forth.
What's your opinion on why they would shut that down so that no one else would, probably for several reasons. Number one, no one would have another sighting. Number two, they can figure out if this is maybe a cryptid they need to remove, possibly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. Again, public safety be their number one.
Yeah.
With all that, nobody wants that publicity,
Right.
So that's my take on it. Like I said, it's very limited information on what he gave, other than, he said that thing stepped out. He was looking in that general area. That stepped out, crossed his nods, and he followed it until he went back into the next set of woods where he was.
So it did
kind of disappeared.
He could tell that it actually saw him, and it was
on the move. Right at him. It looked at it right in his soul.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! understand why he's shaking up so bad.
Yeah, and this thing's like 8, 9 feet tall. And this kid's he's a short kid. He's like he probably comes up to my neck.
Wow.
And I'm not a very tall guy either.
Right.
But yeah, he's a very, very stout little kid. He's 19 years old, never been away from home, and then he sees something like this.
When you're not expecting anything to see that, while you're trying to process it, you're in shock, and by that time, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. He said it felt like time just stopped when they locked eyes. He felt like time just stopped. Like he had no. He's like in such deep shock and deep concentration. Looking at this thing and then just watching it stroll off.
Isn't it something how that Squatch could see him clear as day because it was looking right at him, yet it's pitch black.
Yeah, it's it's I forget what they call it. It's like a kind of like deer. They have like that. What do you call it? Trans.
Yeah, there's a lining in the back of the eye that nocturnal animals have, and it's called the tapetum lucidum, and it just allows them basically for nocturnal animals to have night vision. For instance, dogman encounters, we hear more consistently, at least, that the eye shine is more amber colored, and so I've heard different things with squatches from red to yellow. I've heard daytime sightings. I interviewed a lady a couple of years ago. She's a truck driver, and this was in southeast Oklahoma. She was making a load to Alabama, but she was enjoying the scenery, and she kind of slows down across this bridge along this creek and looks down through the passenger window down toward the bottom of the creek, and then she sees one there looking up at her. It was just kind of frozen still. But she said that it was reddish brown hair with yellow eyes, and it freaked her out. It's interesting how that works, where you can just instantly sense that what it's thinking. Fear, dominance, get out of here.
Yeah.
So since then, have you noticed anything different, or has it kind of got back to normal?
It's kind of been back to normal. I know he won't bring it up. I won't bring it up just out of respect for him.
Right. And you weren't necessarily told anything after that by your higher ups to do anything different than what you normally would do.
Back to day operations. He'll brief you on what we just talked about, and go back to work.
It's sad when folks have something happen where they can't really talk about it. Unfortunate that people don't even sometimes have their own friends and family to turn to. Yeah, is there anything else you want to share about that?
That was pretty much the entire incident in a nutshell. We didn't have to evac him out of there, but we had to set him down and get him to calm down. That was rather really difficult. At one point we had him on oxygen, but that just made things worse for him.
Yeah,
he really hyperventilate. So back to the old paper bag we went.
How long did they have that sectioned off to where it was opened back up to normal operations and access?
I want to say maybe, I'm not for sure, so probably a week, 10 days or so. I don't know.
Yeah,
because it's way out in the western strips, not really where you want to go.
Yeah,
in your POV or anything, unless you got like a big 4-wheel drive truck, because it's all once you get off the we call it the hardball main roads that are paved.
Yeah,
it's pretty rough. Pretty rough getting back in there.
What I'd like to do is get me an IR and just look up. I mean, sometimes that's probably all you have to do. A lot of times,
a lot. And a lot of times with like the Gen 3s and Gen 4s, you can look up. You can see like the plane, like an airplane.
Yeah,
like I used to do this in Iraq all the time. Just watch. You see the airplanes up there. Just see. You won't hear them. Won't hear them at all. But you'll see like the tail.
Yeah.
The thermal trail from the engine.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It's and then they come down. They turn that afterburner or anything on, and it's like it's so loud. It gets shaky to your soul.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard anything with you being in the military about the Kandahar giant?
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just what's on like YouTube or anything like that.
What's your take on it? I know you don't have inside information, and it's obviously from what people say, but I mean, I don't know how much you know about the story, but they were I guess they were looking for some lost soldiers, I
Mhm.
think. And so they sent a group of men out there, and stuff hit the fan. So
Yeah, that's what I've seen on like the media. You know, that's not, you know, military's good at hiding stuff. We're real good at covering things up.
Yeah.
Never, it seems like we never do it right the first time, but we're always good at doing it again. So,
Right. Yeah. Well,
but yeah, I've heard it. I've never been to Afghanistan yet. I'm
Right.
done with all that.
well, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll definitely have to chat some more. Well, thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing, and we'll talk again for sure.
It's awesome. Can't wait.